Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where?
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like fucker? You fucker, fucker!
Huh? What the f?
Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime. I'm your online voice for reviews of your choice, and this is another installment of BS Reviews. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope you keep on watching for my future videos in the future. Today I'll be reviewing the anime film Sonic the Hedgehog the movie. I'm a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I've always been for pretty much my entire life. Been collecting his Archie comic book series since 1993, and I still have them shipped to my house today. This was actually split up as an OVA, two-part OVA anime series, and just released back-to-back as a movie when it was brought over here and dubbed in America. This is also one of the first anime tapes I bought when they were coming out, initially on dubbed VHS tapes and subtitled VHS tapes. It's brought to you by ADV Films, and it was directed by Kazunori Ikigami. The story was written by Masashi Kubota, and the characters were written by Yuji Naka. It stars the vocal talent of Martin Burke as Sonic the Hedgehog, Lainey Frazier as Miles Tails per hour, Sasha Bisei as Sarah, Charles Campbell as the Old Man Owl. That's how it's listed. I didn't make that shit up. Edwin Neal as Dr. Robotnik and the President, and Bill Wise as Knuckles the Echidna. The plot of Sonic the Hedgehog the movie. In this retelling of Sonic's story, Sonic lives on a planet called Planet Freedom, which is divided into two separate factions. The Land of the Sky, where he lives and is ruled by the President and his annoying cat-like daughter, Sarah, who has an insane love-obsessed crush over Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Land of Darkness, a dimension which is ruled by Dr. Robotnik, or so we think. We find out that Sonic and Tails are called out to the President's office when they reveal that Dr. Robotnik has come to them asking for help. Turns out a fiend known as Metal Robotnik has invaded Robotropolis and kicked Robotnik and his robots out. He also sabotaged Robotnik's robot generator, which powers his Robotropolis city, and Robotnik says that if Sonic doesn't go into Robotropolis and stop Metal Robotnik from letting the generator go haywire, the explosion will cause a devastating blast that will destroy both the Land of the Sky and the Land of Darkness. Sonic and Tails eventually go to investigate and fight off Metal Robotnik, and along the way they run into Knuckles the Echidna. They also find out that this whole Metal Robotnik thing was all bullshit, as it turns out Robotnik uses trick in order to copy Sonic's life data to put into his newest and greatest creation, the Metal Sonic, or as he calls it, the Hyper Metal Sonic. Now Sonic must face against his robotic doppelganger, who is his own flesh and blood manner of speaking in every single way, and try and stop him before Robotnik destroys the Land of the Sky. Review the plot. This is very straightforward. I know it may sound like I spoiled this stuff for you, but to be perfectly honest, it's a short movie. I mean, it's only a friggin' hour, so you really can't talk about this thing without explaining the whole frickin' story. It's not really that much of a shocker. I mean, let's be honest. Does anyone out there really think that Robotnik wouldn't be behind a Metal Robotnik somehow invading all of a sudden? I mean, who the hell would have an invading robot that would look just like this other guy and sound just like him with his voice and everything? I mean, it's pretty obvious that. So I hope I didn't spoil anything, but in truth, I really didn't. But this is pretty much a simplistic story. There really is not that much to it. Basically, it's just an excuse for Sonic to fight Metal Sonic. This is also very important because this is actually the first time Metal Sonic has ever appeared in any kind of media. The other versions of Sonic have all been appearing in sort of lesser means, like in the video games and in the cartoon. He only appeared as Pseudo Sonic, which is not the same thing. They're actually quite different. But the story there wasn't really much here. There wasn't really much to go on. You basically got this new setting, this new scenario, with some of these new characters, and the story just kind of goes along from there. It's pretty obvious where things are going, and in that department, this movie kind of gets a little weak in the cracks, so to speak. It really wasn't much here, so it's just not really much to talk about. Again, I said it's a short movie, so you can't really talk much about it without explaining the whole thing. So let's just move straight along to review the characters. Now, I'm a big Sonic fan, As you guys have known, I've just told you. I mostly prefer the Saturday morning anime cartoon Sonic series. It's not anime, sorry. It's called Sat AM by most people online. And I got so used to Jaleel White, whose Family Matters Steve Urkel, by the way, playing Sonic, that I was a little hesitant in going into a new Sonic voice. Martin Burke actually does a pretty damn good job at being Sonic. He actually makes him funny and turns him to more of an asshole and more of a smartass, yelling, "Shut up, Tails!" and shit like that. And I thought that was kind of a nice pace because Sonic was always depicted as this nice, cool guy who was always polite and nice. And here you get more of the brash teenager and more of the smart mouth little brat that he kind of is from Japan. I guess that's more accurate as to how Sonic actually asks. I wasn't too impressed with Lainey Frazier's Tails voice. Kind of sounds like he has a cold and he kind of sounds like a girl, which I got used to after a while, but for a while it was initially a little shocking to hear that voice come out of Tails. I was really pretty annoyed by Sasha Bise as Sarah. I mean, her character was funny in the sense of the position she had in the film, but at times her squealing and it's just an annoying voice just really got far too giggly and giddy. I liked the, sorry, I'm getting a text message, but I liked Edwin Neal as Dr. Robotnik. I thought he was pretty good at it. I don't care for the goofy-ass version of Robotnik that Japan favors. I didn't really care for that. I also liked Bill Wise as Knuckles the Echidna. This is actually the first time, unless you count Sonic Underground when he appeared, that Knuckles has really appeared in any kind of media and actually got to speak until he showed up in Sonic X. I actually prefer this voice better than the one in Sonic X because it gives him more of a sense of a personality and an attitude. Review of the animation and the music. Animation was actually quite incredible here because the whole focus here is on Metal Sonic. He's the key here, and they really display him quite beautifully with the animation styles, particularly when he first emerges from this like glowing sphere thing when Dr. Robotnik creates him out of. There's some nice animated sequences, like when Sonic first enters the Land of Darkness, and you see him going through like this video game kind of like setup. He's bouncing on the springs, busting the Buzz Bombers and all the other classic game enemies. It was really neat. The animation of when Sonic and Metal Sonic were fighting towards the Antarctic, really cool. Some excellent fight scenes there. It's another highlight of this movie. There's some really good fight scenes in here. Music was very good. I love that catchy little tune, the Look-alike. I don't know who sings it, but it was very catchy, and it was in English, surprisingly. It came out really nice and sounded great with everything else. I really enjoyed that. So music was pretty good all around. You got some good sounding tunes, and actually it sounded a lot like it was a video game. So you kind of get the feeling that you were, in fact, in a video game when you're watching this film. Flaws about this. As much as I do love Sonic, I can't really ignore problems when I see them. And I mentioned quite a few of them already in the beginning of this review, but I'll go over just some of the key points here. One of the main things I had a problem with this story was not only were some of the annoying voice actors, such as with Tails and Sarah. I mean, I got used to them. They don't really bother me that much, but it's just something that did irk me. Probably one of the things that bugged me the most was this really lame-ass version of Robotnik. I mean, I don't care if this is how he's supposed to be in Japan. He looks like an idiot. He does not seem threatening or come off as an imposing threat. And this goes on in all the versions that I've seen of Robotnik in Japan's media. He wasn't that threatening or intimidating of a villain in the Sonic Adventure games, and he was completely stupid in the Sonic X anime series, and this one just did not help his image. He didn't come off as threatening at all, so it kind of lessened the severity of the danger here. I mean, he's doing these really evil acts, talking about destroying the planet with Metal Sonic, but it comes off as really weak because of his stupid sounding voice, and not voice, but his attitude, I mean. As I said, I like his voice. I also felt the big thing that probably hinders this movie the most is that it's way too frickin' short. They introduced so many new elements here. The new planet, the new characters, the princess, the president, all this new stuff. And you don't really have any time to establish it because the movie's so busy running through everything. I really think you could have made a longer-running series. Hell, you could have at least made a 6-episode anime series, or 13 or something. You could have easily done that. Sonic has plenty of material and sass to keep things interesting, so I don't know why they didn't make this longer. Bottom line, Sonic the Hedgehog is actually a really good and a very fun movie. It's not something you really have to think too much about because there is not much of a plot to speak of. It's pretty straightforward as to how the video games run. I was kind of annoyed with some of the voices. I had to get used to them, such as with Tails. such as with Sarah. You get to adjust to them. Robotnik was funny. There's actually a lot of good humor to this. I love the battles of Metal Sonic. I think the animation and music was excellent. Got some really good stuff here. But I just recently read out that this movie is out of print, and it's cost like $68 or something on Amazon. So while I do recommend this movie and say it's fun to watch, I do not really feel it is worth that kind of money to go find it. So you're probably better off seeing it on YouTube or downloading it. And in that case, bottom line, I give Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, 2.5 stars out of 5. Well, thank you all for listening. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews, and bye for now.